You're scrolling through Instagram and a post grabs your attention. It makes a bold claim using a striking image, and the comments section is filled with debate. Without thinking, you start analyzing. Who posted it? What's their message? Do they have evidence? And should you share it? This process isn't random. It reflects rhetorical analysis, breaking down a message, identifying its purpose, and considering its impact. These same skills shape strong writing and critical thinking. Let's explore how rhetoric influences communication, how to analyze messages effectively, and how these skills apply to academic writing. Rhetoric refers to the strategies people use to communicate effectively. The concept originated with persuasion, but it applies to all forms of expression, whether in social media, music, advertising, or conversation. A rhetorical situation involves genre or the mode of communication like tweets, essays, speeches, or text messages. Purpose or the reason for writing or speaking. Stance, the position or attitude expressed. Context or the surrounding influences such as politics, culture, and history. And audience, those people the message is intended for. And these elements shape every form of communication, whether drafting a social media post, responding to a class discussion, or composing an email. Decisions about tone, word choice, and argument structure come into play. A strong example of rhetorical strategy at work comes from Tarana Burke, the activist behind the Me Too movement. Burke, a Black activist from the Bronx, began using the phrase Me Too in 2006 to amplify the voices of Black women and girls who had experienced sexual violence. In 2017, the phrase gained widespread recognition when celebrities adopted Me Too to expose patterns of abuse in Hollywood. And despite the movement's sudden visibility, Burke remained at the forefront, ensuring the conversation focused on systemic issues rather than individual cases. Burke's rhetorical approach strengthened the movement with authenticity because she spoke from personal experience, making her message credible. Also with emotional appeals because she connected with shared experiences of trauma. And she also used logical and ethical arguments, framing sexual violence as a widespread issue rather than isolated incidents. Burke's ability to influence public discourse shows how understanding rhetoric strengthens communication, whether in activism, social media, or academic writing. And this week, many of you will reflect on personal reading experiences in your discussion posts. Some might describe moments when the text seemed confusing at first, but strategies like rereading, annotation, and summarizing helped make sense of it. Others might discuss how tone, purpose, or bias shape their understanding of a message, whether in an article, book, or social media post. One key takeaway from these discussions is that reading isn't passive. When a text challenges you, strategies like breaking it down into smaller parts, looking for patterns, and questioning the author's intent can help. And at the same time, recognizing bias in rhetorical choices can change how a message is interpreted. Think about how this applies to your own writing. If you struggle to understand something you read, how can you make your own writing clearer for your audience? If you notice an author's bias, how can you ensure that your own arguments are well supported? These skills don't just help with assignments, they sharpen critical thinking across all forms of communication. Images communicate differently than text. Written pieces unfold over time while images present information all at once. And this immediacy makes interpretation dependent on context, culture, and experience. Consider memes, which rely on shared knowledge. A meme that makes sense to one group might be meaningless to another. So when analyzing a meme, consider what background knowledge does it assume? What emotions does it evoke? How does context influence its meaning? Writing involves shaping ideas, organizing arguments, and refining messages. When responding to a text, writers use 4 major approaches: summary, or condensing the main points without personal interpretation; paraphrase, or restating ideas in original wording to clarify meaning; analysis, or examining how a text conveys meaning; and evaluation, or assessing a text's effectiveness. Each step strengthens critical thinking and improves the ability to engage with different perspectives. And the same skills used to interpret tweets, memes, and speeches, they apply to academic work. So when engaging with a text, ask, what argument does the author present? How do they support their claims? What evidence is missing? And how does context influence meaning? Every question helps build stronger writing by sharpening focus and deepening engagement with the material. Strong communication extends beyond academic writing. Every time a person interprets a message, questions a source, or crafts an argument, rhetorical skills come into play. Next time a viral post or a powerful speech appears, analyze it. Consider who created it, why they did, and how they expect it to be received. Engaging with rhetoric strengthens both writing and critical thinking, skills that enhance every form of communication.